This mini lecture will take a look at linking your speech through the use of transitions. Now, transitions are words and statements that help to guide the audience through your speech. You could think of them as a roadmap or a GPS of your speech. A speech without transitions leaves your audience dazed and confused, and you do not want a dazed and confused audience. So what are some ways that you can link your speech? Well, you can link the things together and the parts of your speech together using 4 different strategies. You can use transitions, signposts, internal previews, and internal reviews. Let's break these down and look at these separately. First, transitions. These are words or phrases that signal movement from one point to another. You must use transition statements. This is going to be used between the introduction and the first main point, between all of the main points in the body of your speech, and from the body of your speech to the conclusion. So there's some different types of transitions that you could use. This chart provides different types as well as examples, so let's briefly review. You could use a time transition. This demonstrates the passing of time. Let's move on to, now that we have, to let us know that we're moving in time from one point to another. Okay. We can use viewpoint transitions. This demonstrates a change in a view or a situation. On the one hand, or conversely, connective transitions unite related thoughts, in addition to, or also, and concluding transitions signal the end of a section of the speech or the entire speech. Therefore, finally, to summarize, these different types of transitions need to be used throughout your speech. The type that you use depends very much on your speech. So those are transitions. Let's take a look at signposts. These are words or phrases that signal to the audience where they are with regard to related thoughts. So for example, first, second, third, the most important aspect. Above all, remember. These are signposts, are words or very short phrases that are used to, again, help the audience understand where we are in our speech. So transitions and signposts often work together, but there's something that you can do with your transition statements, especially when you're looking at the body of your speech. And this is an internal preview and an internal review. Let's first take a look at an internal preview. These serve as kind of mini introductions before moving on to a new main point. And these are particularly important if we're looking at information that may be a little more complicated or that you may have a larger quantity of information to share. For example, let's now look at how the NFL consists of 32 teams, 2 conferences, and 4 divisions. So perhaps I'm doing a speech about something with football, and one of my main points is the NFL, but there's a lot of information there. There's 32 teams, 2 conferences, and 4 divisions. So those are my subpoints of my main point, the NFL. So I may want to preview that before going into everything. Again, the point of using all of this is to help your audience follow your speech, remembering that we hear information very differently than we read information. So we can have an internal preview. We can also have an internal review. These are like little mini conclusions that would come at the end of a main point. Here you would summarize what you have just told the audience. You now see that eating bananas has many health benefits, including reducing leg cramps, lowering blood pressure, improving your happiness, and whitening your teeth. That would be an internal review. Let's say that our main point was health benefits of eating bananas, and our subpoints, of course, were reducing leg cramps, lowering blood pressure, improving your happiness, and whitening your teeth. Because I had those 4 subpoints, my audience might not have quite remembered everything I said, so I may want to use an internal review at the end of that main point before moving on to my next main point or the conclusion. We can also combine the internal summary and the internal review or preview. This is where you use a summary and a preview within the body of the speech, which serves as your transition statement. For example, you now see that eating bananas has many health benefits, including reducing leg cramps, lowering blood pressure, improving your happiness, and whitening your teeth. Now let's turn our attention to the less well-known uses of bananas, including shining your shoes and cleaning your houseplants. In this particular example, I use an internal summary, which was the first sentence, and then I use an internal preview, telling the audience what I would be talking about next. When I combine those together, it gives the audience a very clear understanding of what they just heard and what they will be hearing. Transition statements are a simple yet remarkably important part of your speech. They are clear, concise statements about where you are taking the audience with your speech. Think of transitions as the tour guides. Without the tour guides, your audience is just wandering aimlessly through your speech.